Hello everyone. This video is going to be about Orson and Orrin West. We're going to do a tarot card reading. I've been listening to some of the different videos on YouTube about it, and it's not looking good. Kids went missing back in December. December 21st is what the parents are saying. Some people are questioning whether that date is correct because a neighbor's camera, those either a house camera or maybe a doorbell camera, showed the family leaving. I believe it was the 19th, and they only had 4 kids get into the van at that time. Well, they were supposed to have 6 kids, 2 of their own children, 2 foster children, and the other 2 were these adopted children, which were Orson and Orrin. So the story is that the father went outside to get some wood. The mother was wrapping Christmas gifts, and she had evidently wanted the kids, or dad wanted the kids kind of out of the way while they were doing these things, and they were told to play outside, or that they could play outside with sidewalk chalk in the backyard. They must have cement back there, I'm guessing, if they are playing with sidewalk chalk. So kids went out, dad went out, dad got wood, I'm guessing to build a fire in the fireplace, and then he came back in, and I think he said to mother, "Where are the kids?" Or he didn't see the kids, and she said, "Oh, they're outside playing with sidewalk chalk out back." Well, he didn't see them. So what he's saying is then he went out, I think he hopped in his van, looked around the neighborhood for him. I believe he looked for about a half an hour, didn't see him, called the police. Now, some of the things that are questionable are that the 19th, they didn't see the kids on that video camera. So where were the kids? Maybe a babysitter came over and watched them, but that never really has been explained, so people are still questioning it. Did they disappear before? So that's going to be one of my questions. I'm also going to ask about the children's having gone missing potentially in Bakersfield. I don't know if that's a possibility. There's going to be a question about the involvement of the parents, because a lot of people think it's the parents. What happened? I'm going to ask another, possibly a couple cards for what happened. I am going to ask, did they get kidnapped? That's one of the things that people are saying. Well, they could have got kidnapped if they were out walking around by themselves, 2 little boys. Then we're going to ask, where are the kids? And what are the surroundings like around them, where they are right now? And the distance from the house of where they are. They're somewhere, right? Now, I'm not the greatest with distance. It's like timing, but, I keep pushing it and trying. So take that card with a grain of salt, but it doesn't hurt to keep trying, right? All right, so the first thing I'm going to ask is, did they disappear before December 21st? I'm just going to ask the cards to tell me about that, because people are questioning whether it happened and then they kind of came up with this plot. So we'll see. And it'll be interesting when we get to the card about the parents' involvement. Sometimes people think it's the parents, or they've got a certain person pegged, and then they realize it wasn't that person. So I like to be fair and careful in my readings, and make sure that, we give everybody the benefit of the doubt if we can. So I asked about it happening before December 21st, and this is a card that says very loud yes to me. This is a victory card. This is somebody has done something, they've done something successfully. I do think it was done before then, and I think it was done successfully before then. I am going to ask about it when they were in Bakersfield. The odd thing, let me explain that. So the family lived before this in a city called Bakersfield. And I think now the city they were in was, I believe it's California City. You might want to double check on that. But they moved there, and I'm not 100% sure how long they had lived. And if you know, put it in the comments. In Bakersfield, and then moved to California City and how long they had lived in California City. So I don't know about that gap between. Why I'm saying I'm going to pull a card for that gap in between and why that's significant is that the neighbors said they never saw those two children. I don't know if they saw any of the children, but they never saw those two children, which is odd. Usually, when you have kids, I believe they're in California. I guess I don't know. I'm thinking California City is California, and I don't know for sure. But it's odd that the neighbors never saw children. So we're going to ask about the children disappearing when they were in Bakersfield, even before they moved. And again, I don't know how many months before that would have been. So when I do that, I'm just really focusing on my new question, trying to get the old one out of my mind and just really hone in on that new question that's in my mind so I can read on that. Okay, let's read about whatever happening to them having happened in Bakersfield. Well, that is the Ten of Pentacles, and that is the home card. So this one does make me question that. This is a card of kind of where you've built your wealth, where your family has resided, passing down from generations. It's very much a family card, and it does make me question um, if things did happen back in Bakersfield. It is possible that they did, and maybe the boys were hidden for a long time. We just don't know what happened. We'll see. We'll read more, but this card makes me think. Unfortunately, it kind of does lean towards that. It's definitely a very homey card. All right, we're going to ask about it happening in California City. Now, dogs did smell the scent of the boys in that home in California City, but you got to think about it. They brought all that stuff from another place to the new home. Of course, it's going to have the boys' scent on it. The boys lived in that old home, right? They're bringing the scent with them. Dogs can pick up scents for a long time. So I don't know if that actually answers the question of whether the boys were there or not. Let me focus on this about the boys and this them going missing in the California City. This is a hard question to ask, and the reason being is that something could have happened to them in Bakersfield. Perhaps they were brought to California City. This is sounding morbid, and then parents or whoever did something with them. Let's hope that's not the case. But I do want to throw that out there that the question I'm asking is a difficult one because we don't know the details behind it. But I'm going to focus on California City and things happening there. So things happening to their disappearance happening there. Okay, so we've got this card right there. Well, I again, I feel like, this is the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles can stand for your home. Pentacles are your earthy things, your what you have, what you've built, what you have obtained. It does look like Bakersfield is really kind of standing out with 10 Pentacles as opposed to just this one with the Eight of Pentacles. It does make me wonder if things did happen in Bakersfield. I just question that. It looks much more like Bakersfield than it does where they are now. Okay, next question is we're going to ask about the involvement of the parents. Trezell and Jacqueline West in the disappearance of Orson West and Orrin West. All right, let's see what the cards tell us about this. We're going to go with both of these cards. Okay, so the first card we have is the Hierophant. The Hierophant traditionally is a person that, well, it's kind of a Pope card. A person that blesses others, as he's doing in this one, that people look up to. Can be called Father. I'm just putting that out there, like you call a priest father. This very much could be standing for father. In fact, that's what I'm getting from it. So, the next card we had was the Two of Swords, and that's a decision was made, and there were two. I do believe two that it affected, unfortunately. Cards are looking at father making a decision that affected the two. I don't like seeing swords. I would love to read this in another way, that maybe there was, somebody that had these great intentions and thought they were doing a heroic thing and being a savior to these boys as a pope, and made a decision without really thinking about it and took the kids. I would love to read it that way. I'm going to turn my light on because for whatever reason it got dark in here. But I'm really not quite reading it that way. That's not what came to me. I just want to give that as an optional interpretation. Uh, yeah, yeah. It's that the cards are pointing to father making a decision that affected both of them. I don't like sharp things in cards. Looks like at night there was so I don't think they disappeared during the day. That's why I'm saying that. There's a moon in that card. There's swords. There's a lot of water in that card too. Be interesting when we go to where are they, and we pick some cards for that to see where they are. And I don't know what if they're around here. Or I should have read more about that. Okay, we're gonna read about what happened. Let's hope it's something not bad. Orrin and Orson West. All right, so we've got our first card on what happened to the poor little guys. All right, this, I want you to notice the background is very similar to this Two of Swords card. We've got a moon, we've got some water, we've got a person in there. Looks like in this one, I do want to point out that the one card was father and the other was kind of mother, sort of being blindfolded. Mother may not have known what exactly happened in the moment, or maybe didn't want to see it, or just she may not have seen what happened at the moment that it happened. This one, on the other hand, of what happened, Eight of Cups is this card. What this card traditionally means is a person that has built all this up, good stuff, things they care about, cups are emotions, but now they've turned their back on them and are walking in a different direction. And that's a choice this person makes. Often what they have is no longer fulfilling them, even though, and we've all been to that point in our lives, we built something, we put a lot of ourselves into it, we got a lot of emotional fulfillment out of it at one point, but now we don't get it anymore out of that thing, and most of us will just say, okay, this thing doesn't work for me. Often it happens in jobs throughout your lifetime, right? When you realize, I just need a new challenge, I need to do something else, this just isn't it for me anymore. Well, in this situation, what this person was emotionally attached to is no longer serving them, fulfilling them, and this person is turning their back on that, what they once were emotionally attached to, and going in a different direction. Again, there's a lot of water in here. Cups stand for water as well, so this was a what happened card. So make what you will of that. And the other card pointed to a little bit of water too, so we'll see. We'll keep going. I'm going to ask another card for what happened because I want as much detail as I can get. And I am going to ask a card for where they are. But right now, this is a kind of a what happened. Looks like somebody lost interest and we're no longer getting emotional fulfillment from that situation. All right. We have two cards. That's good because I want as much information as I can about this. So this card is the Fool, and that was making a new start. So it does blend very well with this card where the person decided, you know what, this isn't doing it for me anymore. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to do something new and turn my back on what was once fulfilling me. And I'm going to do something new now. I'm also, this Fool is very, acting very innocent and kind of an ignorance is bliss and just go with the flow. And um, how best to describe in this situation the Fool? I don't know anything about that. So you do see that person with that attitude walking, believing that ignorance is bliss and going to carry them forward and they'll be just fine. But there's a cliff right in front of them that they're about to step off. So that said, we see the person turning away from something that once fulfilled them and now behaving as if ignorance is bliss. Now we have this partnership in this situation too, with a man and a woman. And if you've watched the interviews, the husband and wife are interviewed together. They seem to have a story that they both are telling their side of it, and it does meld together. So there is a pact here that they are going to go forward with this something new together. Um, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. Alternatively, I could read that as okay, so maybe somebody did think they were doing great. They took the kids. They thought they were doing something better for them, and now they're just being quiet about it. But then, if I was a traditional card reader, I could read it that way. I just throw that out there. I'm more of an intuitive card reader. I start with cards, and then I start getting different thoughts that take off and go beyond the card. And the first ones that I said are what first comes to me. And that's where I stick my feeling that it's mostly right. All right, where are the kids? Let's ask about that. Orrin, Orrin and Orson. That Orson, I always get that one mixed up. All right, let's see where they are. Where are they? Where are Orrin and Orson? I probably, what is coming to me as I'm doing this is I probably should not ask where are the two boys, because the two boys could be in two different places. But this is a card that I've got. Ace of Pentacles, that is a card of nature, being outdoors. There is a pentacle in there. It does make me think it could have been close to a home, old home, perhaps if we were going with that Bakersfield. It looks like a place that is lush, potentially mountains there. There are mountains in the background here. Garden type area. They might want to look around their old home. instead of the new one. That's what I'm seeing. We are going to ask about distance. And like I said, I'm not the greatest with that, but it doesn't hurt to try. Okay, I'm going to ask, again, I'm going to ask for something really specific about the surroundings where those children are. Surroundings of where they are. Okay, so this card I got for somebody who had, I read that sometimes I do missing animals, and I read about dogs before, two German Shepherds, and I did see that they would find one of them, and one of them would not, and unfortunately, I felt like one was not going to be alive. You hate when you get a reading like that. So here's what happened. They actually found both the dogs, and I was thinking, oh, I totally got that wrong. How weird. But within the day that they found them, one of their neighbors or relatives had the dogs. Within the same day, one of the dogs broke out again, and this was the card that I had gotten. It had escaped again, and they believe it was hit by a car. The road commission thinks they pick up the dogs, and I think they incinerate them or something. They didn't have the body anymore, but one of the people from the road commission that picked up a German Shepherd at the time thought it was their dog. So in the end, and that was the dog that I thought was deceased. It did turn out that way, unfortunately. Um, what are the surroundings like where they are? Did they break through something? Did they go somewhere? Did the kids really get away and wander away foolishly as the fool while the parents weren't paying attention, maybe even drinking? Or are they under a bunch of sticks? I mean, that is a possibility. This 10 of wands is somebody who is working through something really hard, and it is like a lot of weight on your shoulders is kind of what this card comes down to. A lot of weight on your shoulders. And I don't like that message, you know, a lot of weight on you, a lot of weight on you. But that is what the interpretation really comes down to, a lot of weight on you. I have not gotten any, what I want to point out is any horrible cards. I mean, tarot really does have horrible cards. It has a death card, a tower card. It has cards of, you know, people sneaking around with swords. It has, I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen a terrible card to make me think the kids aren't alive. But that said, I haven't asked that, and I'm not going to. They're too little and too cute. But I'm just going to point that out that I have not gotten a card like that. Surroundings, when I asked about that, again, you see this home in the background. So, and the guy kind of working hard. Where does this guy work? Is it close to his work? Does he work close to home? It does make you wonder. Is there an area, a wooded area close to his work? Okay, we're going to ask about the distance. I'm going to ask about, let's do it like 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. I'm not the greatest with this again, but let's just ask and see what we get. Within 10 miles from home, where can they be found? If we get a really good card that looks like they are in that area, I will say, okay, well, they're in that area. I have to pull these down. Within 10 miles from home. All right, so we've got cards way up here. I need more room. Let me do this. All right, within 10 miles from home, and that is that very first card. Well, that's the Knight of Cups, so that is not a bad card at all. It is a guy bringing forward, we had that whole my emotions and what I've turned away from. This is the person, and it's got a lot of fish on it, is what's coming out to me. And the Cups is a water card too. Fish, when I say fish, you're looking at that saying, I don't see fish. Well, look at his outfit, his armor. There's fish all over. The red things are fish. And the cup, and there's a little bit of water there. There's a mountain again, and we saw water with mountains in a couple of our cards here. We saw mountains in the distance. I'll have to look at where they live. It is possible that this is describing an area around where they've been. Distance from home within 10 miles. It does look like a very positive card for that, potentially. Again, it's like, well, which home? Because they did have that Bakersfield house and they have this house, and we saw some cards alluding to things may have happened in the Bakersfield house. The guy coming, holding up, he is kind of the peacemaker, this Knight of Cups. So, but he's also bringing things to the water. It does make you wonder. I'm going to ask for more clarity on that card because I feel like we need it. All right, a little bit more clarity on this Knight of Cups as to a distance from home. This is really interesting. Well, now we have the Page of Cups. These cards are very, very similar. In fact, in the deck, just like you have a Joker, well, how does it go? Joker, Queen, King, I think. It goes Page, Knight in tarot cards. So Page, Knight, Queen, King. So this is just one step down. Again, the fish, the one cup, the person focusing on that cup, walking forward. Background colors are very similar, and we've got water again. The Page of Cups is often a person who, sometimes it's a person in theater, dressed up, being an actor, somebody who is very outgoing and fun and can live in a pretend world almost. Some people are really good at daydreaming and can just have a lot of fun with it, and they excel in theater and acting. I do think, again, for distance from home, we are seeing this whole like acting going on. We're seeing the horse taking some steps away. Do they live? I think they are sort of by a deserty area. Both the colors, that one's deserty, but it has a little water going through it. I don't think it's very far. I don't know. With one cup, it makes me wonder. They both have one cup, and they both are showing me water. And when I look at this cup, I know it's really weird, but sometimes like I see something in the cup, and I see in this cup a person looking, I think it's one of the kids, looking sad and like they are going to cry. And I would show it to you, but you're probably never going to see it. But sometimes it's like almost scrying or something, and little things come out at me. You probably can't see that at all. But that's what that appeared to me when I was looking at it. It looked like a kid crying. It still does, with a tear coming out of his eye. And he is the cup. And the Knight of Cups is like going forward with that cup, ready to give it away to someone, basically. And here we saw those two cups, and these two kind of making a pact with those two cups. It's pretty odd. A lot of pretending going on is what I see. Kids being sad. Knight of Cups is almost like he's giving something away, which would be really odd. At this point, you would think that the parents would just say we gave them away if that's what they did. Um, Lots of whimsical stuff going on here. Lots of pretend, lots of hmm, this is a really odd reading because this kids in Bakersfield and we got family and the generations and a lot of these cards, the male is dressed up in these very whimsical clothes and very like he's almost acting. These cards. This one's acting sort of like ignorance is bliss. We got that before. These two, if you look at them, it's like they're on a stage, kind of making a pact. And you see how the gentleman is dressed, kind of very whimsical and fancied, and I don't know what to call that, but he does look like an actor. And we've got this guy too, which reminds me of an actor, and he's on a stage too. And we've got this guy just trying to make up and make things all right as a and as a distance from home, 1 and 1 with the cups. It may be that they're close to cups. Horses traditionally can be travel. Cups are water. We know that. Both those cards have water in them. This card I said, let's see if we get more water. Distance and where are they? We had like this nice sort of like setting. Um, Looks like outdoors. It's a pentacle. Pentacle can be earth. So, um, and then the next card we got was like heavy weight on my shoulders. So earth, heavy weight on my shoulders. I mean that potentially that could be telling us buried within the earth, heavy weight on their shoulders. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. But potentially that could be a meaning. A lot of this stuff points to father. A lot of the reading points to father. A lot of the reading points to father. Um, yeah, yeah, just a lot of acting going on. A lot of acting here. And making up with mother, and there's some really odd dynamics between them. Really odd dynamics. Hmm. All right, I'm probably going to sit here and look at this a little bit more, but it's definitely outside the home. And I say that because I see, outside the home here, but you see the home far in the background, not too far. The home here, it's in the distance in the background. This was a home card for the Bakersfield. What was going on there could be around the Bakersfield home. I don't know where Dad works. I don't know how far California City is from Bakersfield, where they were before. I'm going to have to look that up. Looks like it happened at night. I'm not buying it happened at day. It looks like it happened at night when Dad turned his back. I mean, it could be somebody took the kids, but I don't really get that feeling. I just don't. But it's an odd situation. It's almost as if they like, I don't know. Could he have given his kids away, or I guess he could have done something to them. Whatever it is, he is totally acting like an actor, and he doesn't know anything. You just look at these two cards, and it's like, I do not know anything. Ignorance is bliss. And look at me acting. Let me put my emotions on. The cup is in emotions. And let me, he's dressed up like an actor and he's on stage. And Father's the one I would focus on. I think he has an inkling of what really happened. It does, I do see Father turning his back and Father turning his back in these. And this guy's carrying wood. And that's what Dad said he was doing, right? So it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. Hmm. Again, I don't have any terrible cards here. Nothing describing anything absolutely terrible. I'm kind of glad to see that. Dad turning his back and carrying wood. I mean, there it is. That's what Dad said he was doing. Hmm. And I suppose if you look back at the Ace of Pentacles, that could be them going through the gate. That's what they said they did. We're going to have to wait for this one. I truly don't have a 100% answer on this. Interesting cards. I do feel like either Dad was just ignorant, and in the sense that he should have kept a better eye on them, and he didn't. And I mean, we do have the whole Dad carrying wood and what have you in these cards, and a gate that they could have walked through. And we do have the kind of turning your back and not seeing what's going on. This person didn't see what was going on with the two. We'll have to wait and see with these two. We're just going to have to wait and see. I wish I had a definitive, but on this one I don't. I don't have a definitive. Real questionable, but I don't have a definitive on this. Okay. We'll see. Bye.